In this video, I just wanted to go over the suspension kit that I am running on my car, which is the EPIK TREK spring under axle 4-inch lift kit from Trail Tough. There's only a few little videos and pictures on the internet about it when I got mine, so maybe this will help you decide if you want one for your car. I'm not a mechanic, I don't know what I'm doing, but this is my experience with the EPIK TREK spring under suspension kit for the Suzuki Samurai from Trail Tough. So I opted for the EPIK TREK spring under axle kit because I wanted the best ride quality I could get without going too crazy of coilovers or 4-link, 3-link setup, without cutting too much stuff away and getting custom with it. I wanted to keep this car like OEM plus stock, nicer than stock, but riding as good as possible. The goal is to be able to bolt everything together and see how it does and how it looks. And if I get to a point where I have to weld something, then I'll reconfigure there. So I'm gonna measure to see how much down travel we have until we hit the top of the fender here. And then I'm gonna compare that to afterwards to see if we gained any down travel. So we're at about 34.5 ground top of fender. Box Hypersmooth, I think is what they're called. These were the ones that were recommended by Dan at Trail Tough to run for now. So I'm gonna put those in the rear. I have the shock towers from Trail Tough, and I plan to put those on afterwards with some new front shocks. Oh! Goes in the stock guy, swings up, and then it's gonna bolt into the side there. Good, nice and solid. Let's do the rear one on. Should be good. I'm going to be pressing out these bushings off of the stock shock that I have, and I'm going to be pressing them into the Fox shock that I have here. But for now, I'm just going to reuse these because I know they fit on the stock setup. Here's our full droop. I'm super excited. I can't wait to go drive. Earlier we were at 34.5 full droop. We're now at 39 3/4. So that gave us about 5 inches of flex. All right, so I had to put these on to visualize how this was gonna mount. You have to cut this off. So I'm gonna cut in here the welds, and then it's gonna mount to here, and it's gonna mount to right here. We finally have this guy installed. There it is. So it threads through. There's 2 holes. You don't have to cut too much stuff off, which that part sucked, but they make it work with what you've got. You don't have to get too crazy with tearing stuff apart. So anyway, sorry. I personally wanted to keep my car spring under axle because I didn't want it to be 6 feet in the air. These cars are already top heavy enough, in my opinion. So I just wanted it to be lifted, more ground clearance, a bigger tire, but nothing too crazy. Because again, I'm not going gnarly rock crawling, and again, you might not need as much lift and height as you think in order to have a good time. lift kits and the leaf springs, there's also the option to have the dropout shackle in the front. So rather than just having a normal shackle bolted to your car here, it has the extra shackle piece, so when you go full droop, that piece will drop out and the rest of it will drop out. I didn't want my car to always have that extra piece of dropout because I didn't think I was going to use it. So I wanted something where I could bolt it up temporarily, and when I'm really getting crazy, then I could unbolt it and have the full droop of the full leaf spring. So with the EPIK TREK kit, you have the ability to put a bolt through it, close it off so it only drops down a certain amount. Keep in mind with that, you're going to need a much longer shock to compensate for the dropout. Now I really like the way that it handles. It's pretty fun because it's still pretty stiff. It's a Samurai. It's always going to be stiff and it's always going to beat you up a little bit. Also, this video isn't sponsored by anyone other than myself, but I ate a whole bag of Moto Club beef jerky today on this ride, and it was delicious. Nope. So we tried to get this to drop out more, but this is all it's given us. Even with this tire in the air, it wasn't dropping out any more than that. So I guess we're getting maybe an inch or two of dropout, but that's it. And we couldn't even get this bolt off. It was too stuck on there and stripped out, so I don't think it's the best choice of hardware. Yeah, not to mention this is pretty much stripped out after one-time use. This is the one I was able to get off. The other side is stuck on there. I have to use a grinder to get it off. So it does work, it does drop out. Just I'd either leave these in the car or leave these off the car. I don't think I would plan on taking them in and out. Once I get some new hardware on there, I'm probably just gonna leave it on there. It's a super tight little space to get in and out of, and the slow stuff with the kit, the rock crawling stuff, is super fun. I'm happy to have that extra ground clearance that I needed. Getting over some of those rocks was a little bit close. So I'm definitely happy with the 4 inches of lift. I would recommend it for sure. I just wouldn't really brag too much on the dropout part of the shackles. High-speed suspension test with the Trail Tough kit. This is like a little bit of it's a graded road, but it's got some bumps in it, so it's kind of honestly as hard as I want to, big of bumps as I want to hit in a Samurai. And from the outside, it looks a lot less intense than it feels like in here. But here we go, we're gonna hit it at second, maybe third gear. Second gear, ouch, third gear, some big bumps. All right, now we're going into the zone where the camera is. There we go, that was probably pretty good. Woo! Yeah, all right, it's as hard as you need to go in a Samurai, I'll tell you that. video it doesn't look like I'm really hitting anything, but I'll tell you, if you drove through that in a stock Samurai, you would probably be getting pretty buck wild. And I was third gear, probably doing 40-ish miles an hour, so that was pretty good on the high speed bumps. Low speed, it does really well. Pretty happy with everything overall. Is it worth the money? That's up for you to decide. I like having a whole kit ready to go. If I did it again, and I'm gonna do it again, I would probably piece together the kit and then just kind of get the parts that I really need and not really stress out over, you know, spending a lot of money to get the whole kit. Get some used parts if you can, get some shackles, and go from there. I hope I've got enough info in here to help you make an educated decision about whether or not the EPIK TREK spring under axle kit is the correct suspension kit for you and your build of your Suzuki Samurai.